chung. Tôi sẽ tiếp cận khu vực bên kia bờ suối để xem công tác người dân khắc phục hậu quả trận lũ lụt này ra sao. Vâng, ngay sát những mặt tiền của những hộ dân ở đây thì rất nhiều khối đất đá khổng lồ đang ở phía trước mặt. Và theo giáo viên ở đây cho biết thì ngày 21 tháng 8 thì trường này sẽ nhập học trở lại. Và tuy nhiên với tình trạng thiên tai như thế này thì các em học sinh ở đây chắc chắn là sẽ bị ảnh hưởng đến công việc học tập, khi mà toàn bộ phần tầng 1 của trường tiểu học và trung học cơ sở thị trấn Mù Căng Chải nó bị phá hủy như thế này. Vâng, chúng ta vào cùng xem cái cận cảnh những cái tác hại của thiên tai ở khu vực này. Vâng quý vị ạ, đây là tầng 1 của trường tiểu học và trung học cơ sở thị trấn Mù Căng Chải. Khối nước khổng lồ về đây đã phá tan cái phần mà tầng 1 và chỉ còn lại những cái trụ vững như thế này. Đây, gốc cây, rất nhiều thân cây to và hòn đá lớn. Vâng, với những cái sức nặng của những tảng đá khổng lồ như thế này mà đập về đây thì tôi e rằng không chỉ có cái nhà giáo viên đâu mà vào đến công trình nào thì cũng bị hư hỏng thôi. Vào thời điểm này thì có nhiều lúc là thời tiết tại Mù Căng Chải có thời điểm hừng nắng. Nhưng tuy nhiên thì một lúc sau thì mưa lại xuất hiện. Tuy là không là mưa lớn nhưng mà cũng khiến cái việc mà nước ở khu vực khe suối đổ dồn về đây cũng rất là nhiều như thế này. Vâng, đây là một chiếc xe máy đã bị nước lũ cuốn về đây và có cái phương tiện này coi như đã bị hư hỏng hoàn toàn. Tại như này là khu vực mà nước chảy về mạnh nhất và có thời điểm là cao tận nóc nhà như thế này. Vâng, phía trong ngôi nhà gần như là không còn lại gì. Những hạt củ ăn tất cả. Đều có đủ đất này. Có thể nói là tích nước rất là khủng khiếp, phá toàn bộ những cái phần của kết cấu của ngôi nhà. Tài sản của đã bị như xe máy, những bị cuốn trôi trong đây. gần đến khu vực các ngôi trường học bị thiệt hại do mưa lũ. Vâng, lớp 8A2 của trường Trung học cơ sở thị trấn Mù Căng Chải. Hiện tại thì trong này không còn gạch đá do đã được thu dọn, nhưng mà nước còn rất là nhiều. Tấm bảng đã được lau dọn sạch sẽ như thế này. Tuy nhiên ở phía ngoài bùn đất vẫn rất nhiều như thế này. Khu vực này thì nước từ trên núi cao cũng đổ dồn về đây và chảy vào trong môi trường này như thế này. Không ai tin rằng mà nghĩ rằng đây là nơi mà các em học sinh 8A2 đã học tập trong suốt những năm vừa qua, hôm nay đã bị gánh chịu thiên tai như thế này. Vâng, hiện tại trên địa bàn của huyện Mù Căng Chải thì trời đã tạm thời tạnh mưa, nhưng mà không có nắng. Trời lúc mưa nhỏ và lúc thì ngừng lại. Tuy nhiên thì nước trên các khe suối đổ dồn về vẫn rất là nhiều. Toàn bộ các bàn ghế học tập và nhiều dụng cụ khác đã bị nước lũ cuốn trôi. Vâng, có thể nói là nước chảy về đây vẫn rất là nhiều, khiến công việc khắc phục gặp rất nhiều khó khăn.
Meanwhile, floods in Thailand have killed at least 23 people in its northeastern farming region and caused damage estimated at $300 million. More than 1 million people have been affected. 10 of Thailand's 77 provinces are disaster zones now. Most of the affected areas are rice-growing farmland. It's the middle of the annual rainy season. Authorities say the floods have been unusually heavy. An alert for rainstorms, floods and mudslides has been issued for the coming days.
哎呦我操！哎呦我操！这全飘起来了，飘起来了，全飘起来了！哎呦我！水太大，房都吐倒了，车都吐走多少台了？来看看，房都吐没有了啊！
这是那个刘家桥的新龙江都塌了。
China's Central Weather Bureau issued a yellow alert for rainstorms early Thursday morning for China's southern and southeastern regions. Under the influence of Typhoon Haitang, a large area from coastal to central provinces will be expecting heavy downpours for the next 24 hours. The precipitation may reach as high as 80 millimeters per hour. An amateur video taken by Beijing residents shows heavy rain flooding multiple streets and causing several vehicles to break down. Beijing weather authorities warn of continuous rain and possible landslide in the coming days.
Mati. Paksa saja mobil rusak. Harus gas terus. Mati. Selamat. Waduh, kalau di sana diam berarti dia mati. Sana diam dia mati. Boleh diam kok. Boleh naik gini.
And it's the height of the summer, and while many people are hitting the beaches, the hot weather has also led the government to issue heat warnings, and there could be a typhoon on the way. Cha Sang-mi reports.
Korea's summer is at its peak with boiling heat and humidity. Everyone is trying to escape the sweltering weather by staying indoors as much as possible, leaving department stores and movie theaters crowded. Despite the scorching sun, umbrellas are necessary as a typhoon is on its way up from Japan. The Korea Meteorological Administration issued heatwave advisories and warnings for most parts of the country on Wednesday. They issued heatwave warnings for Seoul and its surrounding regions as well as large parts of the southwest of the country around Gwangju. Some areas of Jeju Island and Gyeongsang-namdo Province were also issued heat warnings, and the Meteorological Administration issued advisories for other areas except for the eastern side of the country. Heatwave advisories are issued as the daily temperature reaches 33 degrees Celsius, and warnings are issued when the daily high tops 35. Weather agencies said the daytime highs will reach over 34 degrees Celsius for some parts of Korea, and other parts of the nation, including Seoul, will get rain showers in the afternoon. As for the weekend, a powerful typhoon is to make landfall in Japan by the weekend. Typhoon Noru is on course to hit Kyushu in western Japan, but could possibly turn northward to threaten the Korean peninsula. It is centering near Okinawa at 68 kilometers per hour and is likely to dump heavy rain on Jeju Island over the weekend. The Safety Ministry advised people to stay indoors if possible and hydrated throughout the day, and also to avoid sunshine and let the air ventilated when indoors. Cha Sang-mi, Arirang News.
Flash flood in Poonch. The floods triggered by heavy rains caused damage to a bridge on the Cross LOC road in the Chakandabag area. Pradeep joins us live from Jammu. Pradeep, what is the situation currently over there? Have floodwaters receded or are people still stranded?
The monsoon fury continues to take its toll. As you rightly said, the 3 people have lost their life because of the flash floods in Jammu region during the last 12 hours. 2 of them died in the Poonch region because of the flash flood, while 7-year-old boy lost his life in Ramban area, which is on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway. And as you can see in the visuals also, because of the flash floods, the gushing stream of water, the bridge, which is the Poonch-Rawalakot bridge near Chakandabag in Poonch district, that was completely washed away. And because of which, many villages, including several border outposts, the forward posts in the line of control, were also cut off from the rest of the town, and because of which the normal life was completely affected. Right now the alert has been sounded at several places, keeping in view the forecast by the Met Department that says that there is going to be incessant rainfall in the next 24 hours also. The people had been advised not to move towards the stream or cross the river or move in that area where you can have the landslides. So there is in fact many efforts are being made by the administration to ensure that the villages that are cut off because of this washing away of the bridge can be immediately connected. As this is a very important strategic location, it's a line of control off and on. There is a shelling from across the border from Pakistan side. So the administration as well as army is working on war footing pace so that they can immediately connect one area with the other area so that supply and other items can be provided to the forward post as well as the villages on the other side of this Poonch because of the flash floods who are being affected right now.
Are you guys stuck? Are your cars stuck?
To the index and to dangerous weather tonight, 3 contract workers struck by lightning in Indianapolis recovering at the hospital. A police officer performing CPR on one victim until paramedics could arrive. Flash flooding in Miami Beach, streets underwater tonight. Afternoon thunderstorms dumping up to 6 inches of rain. And the extreme heat and fire threat in the west we're following tonight. 48 major fires burning at this hour. Our weather team telling us triple-digit temperatures and record highs could be set in parts of the Pacific Northwest tomorrow.
The weather in the west has flip-flopped. It's hot and dry in the northwest. This fire in central Washington has burned nearly 7,000 acres. But it's just the opposite in places that are often parched. Here's Maria Villarreal.
The desert is drenched. This dramatic video shows two people rescued from the roof of a pickup truck that's totally submerged after a flash flood north of Phoenix. It's a snapshot of monsoon season in Arizona. Tucson just recorded its wettest July on record. It's been that type of summer. Unusually wet in the southwest, unusually hot in the northwest. So hot that stores in normally mild Portland are running out of air conditioners.
I'm going to stay at my house and be cool.
Meals on Wheels is delivering fans to the elderly.
Oh, thank you.
As the city braces for perhaps its hottest day ever. 3 times in history, Portland has reached 107 degrees. By Thursday, it could hit 108. Dangerously hot, says Point TV meteorologist Claire Anderson.
We could see at least 4 days of 100-degree plus temperatures in the Portland metro area, and that just doesn't happen a lot here.
All afternoon, we've been getting readings well over 120 degrees, which is why people here in Portland are doing anything to stay cool. Anthony?
120 ouch. Maria Villarreal, thanks.
We'll take a look at this one tree that came down in Corona. There are dozens just like it in this one neighborhood. People who live here tell me they have never seen a storm like this one. Trish Campbell took this video from her front porch. You can hear her daughter screaming as the rain came down in sheets.
And the wind was blowing such that it kind of blew right onto the porch, so she was getting soaked, and she didn't expect that.
Campbell's family says they've never seen a storm come through so fast with so much intensity.
So we've been looking up microbursts, we've been looking up tornadoes, we've been looking up, was it a tornado? What was it?
It was crazy. We weren't really sure what was coming next, but we had trash cans flowing down the street, trees toppling over. I mean, it was pretty crazy for Corona. We don't get this kind of weather here.
Richard Orr, who lives across the street, agrees. He lost a couple trees. Fences also came down.
I've seen a couple of good storms come through here, but this is the biggest.
The storm wreaked havoc across the Inland Empire, flooding parts of the freeway near Lake Elsinore and creating a new water hazard at this golf course in Temecula. The lightning in Redlands was impressive, but strikes in Moreno Valley and San Bernardino actually started small fires. Homeowners who are just beginning the cleanup tonight are hoping the worst of this monsoonal weather is over.
We Californians don't get this, and so it's just, I know folks across the country are going, it's called rain, but we just don't get this. Now we know.
Yeah, I'm back here live. You can see there is quite a cleanup in this one neighborhood. Now, several people here told me they were glad that we got a little bit of rain. They just hope the next time it rains, it doesn't come on a day when everybody has their trash cans and recycling cans out.
Yeah, Molly, I got to tell you, I'm from the Midwest. I'm absolutely loving this weather. 47 consecutive days with no rain, but it is going to get warm today. Not everyone loves that. 96 degrees for a high today in Seattle. 104 degrees for a high projected in Portland. And you know what? That actually literally stopped some of the trains down there from rolling because they had to shut it down because they feared that the tracks were expanding. And when they did resume, they had to have the trains go 10 miles an hour slower down to 35 miles an hour because they were afraid of those trains jumping the tracks. They did actually give free rides because there was a computer glitch. Portland police, meanwhile, were making sure that the homeless were hydrated, passing out bottled water at tent cities and at our freeways. Summer school was closed early, so the kids got a break yesterday going home early. Governor Kate Brown in Oregon declared a state of emergency because they do have several fires and a threat of thunderstorms that could set off more fires in the state. It is several degrees cooler in Seattle. The beaches were packed yesterday, and we're at one today, and I'm sure it's going to be packed later on today. The fountains brought a lot of relief. Most stores are sold out of fans. There is a good news, bad news scenario here. A lot of smoke has been blown in from massive wildfires in British Columbia, actually about 1,000 fires up there, or actually 100 fires with thousands of people that have evacuated, and that smoke is acting like a filter, filtering the sun and keeping the temperatures about 4 degrees cooler. Bad air quality, though. It's a red alert day. Pollution advisories in effect, which means it's unhealthy air for everyone. We are getting no sympathy, though, from a lot of people around the country who have it a lot rougher. In Las Vegas, for example, they have had 55 days of 100 degrees heat. They have had 78 days of 90-degree heat. So you know what? They had a high of 117 back on June 20th. Listen.
I think they're overreacting just a bit. My son lives up on Bainbridge Island, and he's complaining that he doesn't have any air conditioning, but I think he's going to make it.
Well, he's in good company because only about a third of the people in the Pacific Northwest bother to have air conditioning. We only get normally about 5 or 6 days in the 90s every summer, but it's a little unusual, a little hot. But you know, like that guy said, I think we'll get through it. Molly?
I hope everybody stays safe. You seem to be very seriously enjoying yourself out there today.
This is great. No humidity. You know, back east, I mean, it's like putting on a blanket with 100-degree heat, right?
Well, I'm happy for you. You seem like you're having a great day of live shots. Dan Springer, thank you for that update.
Clip of it at the top of this newscast, but a Walmart parking lot near 36th Street and Indian School may have just gotten the worst of it. Lexi Suter hearing from shoppers there, and Lexi, all of that rain really something to see.
Yeah, certainly. And I've been out here for hours and it is still standing water. Get a look at this down there towards that rack right there, still a couple feet deep. And I want to show you just how powerful the winds really were here. Look at the roots of this tree. I mean, completely uprooted. And this is not a small tree. So as you can understand, when shoppers were coming out, they were pretty stunned. Imagine walking out of Walmart and seeing this. The wind and rain so strong, this boat took off on its own. The palm trees look like they're about to snap, and loose shopping carts are slamming into cars. Once the weather finally calmed, the shock for customers began to set in.
Total madness.
People were stunned.
And then it was blowing, couldn't even see across the street.
Trying to navigate their groceries and kids through this knee-deep water. Then getting out of the parking lot, a whole other hassle.
Not before. This is the first time that I see a lot of water, and that's scary, really.
Fortunately, no one was hurt, and as far as we know, all of these cars started. But people in this Walmart parking lot tell me they'll be talking about this monsoon for a while.
I don't know. It's crazy. It came down hard.
So I want to show you, you can see this van back here. I said a lot of these cars started, well, not this one, and there are some damage to other vehicles. But guys, after seeing that video that we just showed you, it is pretty much a miracle that it was not worse out here today. Reporting live in Phoenix tonight, Lexi Suter, ABC 15, Arizona.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jeff Vaughn.
And I'm Lena Wynn. Another round of severe storms swept through the Southland.
Yeah, parts of Soledad Canyon just north of Santa Clarita still underwater tonight. Flash flooding left many drivers trapped in high water in the town of Acton. Sky 9 overhead when a helicopter rescue team pulled a man from the top of his pickup. And we saw many people try to drive through the raging rapids, some of them getting stuck, some risking their lives as they tried walking through the fast-moving floodwaters. And we were there as another truck tried to drive through and then got stuck. A Good Samaritan tried to pull them out.
Luckily, this guy backed up right away, or we would have been stuck in the water, and we've been really screwed. The water would got up in the exhaust system.
So at least it got him out of the water and they didn't get trapped in the flash flood, and evidently he didn't lose his truck. It's still running, so that's the best part of it. Everybody's safe is the most important, though.
This is a bad situation. We should have checked it. Should have checked it first.
A Metrolink train filled with people also stuck when the floodwater came dangerously close to the tracks. A wall of water there started to swallow the ground just a few feet from the train. Those tracks are still closed. Metrolink is working right now to get everyone home safely. So far, we're hearing no one was injured, but there might be some animals missing as a result. As you can see, the damage is pretty widespread.
sunshine we've been enjoying on the south coast is about to take a turn, and not necessarily for the better. It's going to get hot, very hot, and we're all being encouraged to be cautious. Our Jeff Hastings is at Vancouver City Hall this afternoon. Jeff, the city has some advice for how to deal with that heat?
That's right, Colleen. They're extremely concerned about the elderly, about children, about the most vulnerable, about people with underlying medical conditions that won't respond, well, not just to heat, but to all of this smoke that's in the air. About 150 wildfires burning in BC, and so far we've managed to avoid the worst of the smoke, but the wind has now blown it right down to the coast, and it's settled in. Just looking across here on the other side of the camera, it's hard to see the North Shore. The smoke is so thick, and it's the one plus so far standing out here, Colleen, is that the sun has been fighting the smoke, and so far the smoke is winning. It's not quite as hot standing in this direct sunlight as it would normally be, though I have to say it's definitely heating up. So there's concern about people with underlying health issues, about seniors, about children, but there's also concern because there are a lot of outdoor events happening in the city, fireworks, Pride, people just being outside and enjoying this nice weather and possibly getting themselves into trouble.
There are some warning signs of serious heat-related illness, which is actually a life-threatening condition, and that is body temperature above 40, and people start to have neurological signs. So they start to get dizzy and have difficulty walking, actually have difficulty communicating. One of the reasons we want to make sure that people moderate their alcohol intake is that some of the symptoms can be confused, as well as people may not take the precautions that are necessary because they aren't noticing that those are happening.
So if people aren't taking the precautions for themselves, the city and many officials like Vancouver Coastal Health, Vancouver Fire Department, for example, are taking measures to ensure that people cannot get into trouble, watching out for each other, vigilance. They're putting up misting stations in several parks, something they don't often do. They'll be walking around handing out water. Sunscreen will be available in drop-in centers in the inner city, things like that, Colleen. So it's going to take all of us looking out for each other, as well as making sure that we're not succumbing to the effects of the smoke and the sunshine. Back to you.
Estoy grabando.
¿Ya salió el fondo de oficina o no? No, pues mira. ¿Ya van para abajo, Venga, venga, venga. Mira, mira los búnkeres acá, oye. Mira, mira este módulo. La troca, mira. Mira. Mira la troca, güey. Mira la troquita, ¿dónde la trae ya? Mire. ¡Aguas! ¡Ay, qué niño, la verga! Mira, trae el comedor. A la verga. ¡A la madre! ¿Eh? ¡Agua, mi sobra! ¡Sálganse, cabrón! ¡Que viene el agua! ¿Eh?
Health warnings are being issued across Europe as temperatures reach potentially dangerous levels in many places.
Yes, just to refresh.
The strongest heat wave of the summer is predicted in the coming week, with more than 40 degrees expected in some regions. The risk of fires breaking out is also a major headache for emergency services, already stretched to the limit in places. Authorities are urging particular care of the elderly, small children and people in a weak condition. Drinking lots of fluids is crucial, as well as staying out of the sun, wearing light clothes and finding ways to stay cool. At home, windows and shutters should be closed during the day, and regular checks made on those unable to look after themselves.
At the Global Footprint Network NGO, researchers have determined that August 2nd is 2017's Earth Overshoot Day, the day we have consumed more ecological resources than the Earth can regenerate this year. Think of it as going over budget and running up a debt.
It's like if we lived on 1.7 Earth, but we only have one Earth. And the consequences are that we accumulate CO2 in the atmosphere, we are over-harvesting forests in some parts of the world, in some places we are overusing fresh water, we are overfishing, etc. That's all a manifestation of using nature more quickly than in renews.
The good news is the rate of the ecological overshoot has slowed. The bad news is this year is the earliest Earth Overshoot Day since calculations began in 1969. The Global Footprint Network also calculates how each country is faring.
China has the largest ecological footprint in the world. China is at the top, and the United States is right underneath it. However, when you look at ecological footprint per person, the ranking changes dramatically. And now Luxembourg is #1, United States is #6, and China is way down on the list, around in the 60s at 67.
If everyone lived like U.S. residents, the Earth Overshoot date would move up to March 14th. And if they lived like Chinese residents, June 23rd. The group has also just launched an individual footprint calculator. I can actually find out my own Earth Overshoot Day by answering a few questions. What kind of food do I eat? What transportation do I use? What kind of place do I live in? And there's the result. Uh-oh. If everyone lived like me, we'd use up 7 Earths, and the Earth's Overshoot Day would be February 21st.
We can align our own decisions with financial stability as well. That's why I think it's not about suffering. It's really about recognizing how the world operates so you can make good decisions for yourself.
The group hopes it can help move Earth Overshoot Day back, noting that gaining 5 days each year could bring humanity's ecological footprint back to one planet before the year 2050. Mark New, CGTN, San Francisco.